Hey guys, Kyo here, and this time, as you can see by the title, this is really just gonna be me talking about like how my top one series has evolved throughout time. I'll probably make something similar with like my top five, right? But I just want to do this, first, see how it goes. But yeah, originally I was gonna make a Chosen X video or an Orient, like talk about the anime release, which I might, but I don't think I don't think I have enough to talk about them to even last 5 minutes, so I don't want to make them because they're just gonna feel forced. But yeah, realistically, I'm just gonna like talk about each series that has been my favorite series, and then like explain why they were my top one at the time and stuff like that. So yeah, the concept is pretty simple, and there's no really need to explain much. So let's get straight into it. So I don't actually think Naruto was one of my. It was probably one of my first series, right? Definitely my first five, but I'm 99% sure it wasn't my not my favorite, my first. I'm pretty sure it was between either DBZ Kai or Magi. I'm probably gonna say it was Dragon Ball first, just because it's Dragon Ball, and I have earlier memories of like Dragon Ball than I do Magi, especially like watching with family and stuff. So I'm gonna go with Dragon Ball. There isn't really much to explain, right? It was my first anime. Didn't really have much choice, and yeah, it's just a really easy anime to love. It's pure fights, and especially like I guess it was like 10-year-old me or 7-year-old me or something. I don't know. When you see a bunch of characters fighting and screaming and doing all this cool stuff, you're obviously gonna love the series. If it wasn't, I'm gonna just say it was DBZ though. After DBZ, I do believe it was Magi, right? And Magi, I still love to this day. I don't know. It's like a similar series to what Naruto is for other people. I originally found it on Netflix, right? This was before the time I would ever like, I don't know, use Crunchyroll or pirate a series. I only watched series off of Netflix. One, because I didn't know like Crunchyroll existed, and two, because I didn't like pirating. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's a great, right? Especially like before, I didn't really care too much about depth. But yeah, I really love the characters, the different and unique story, the power system, the cool different powers, the new world. Everything about like Magi is just so great, and I still believe all that to this day. I think to this day I love it even more than I did before, especially since like memories and stuff. I rewatched it countless times. I plan on rewatching it again soon. If I do rewatch it again soon, I'll probably keep notes so I can do a Sinbad analysis or something. But yeah, I really love Magi. It's a great series, and everyone should read it. Especially, I mean, some people don't like the anime probably because of the animation, because it's not like a UFO table. But at the same time, the OST, phenomenal. One of my favorite soundtracks in general. Every like OST I've heard is great. Every opening is amazing. I really have no doubt about it. I love all the openings. That could just be bias, right? But that's just me. You could love different openings. I've seen people say that only opening 1 and 2 are good. I personally love all 4 of them, except like they get less good as time goes on, which I don't know. But yeah, I do hope we get a season 3 or even a season 4. Which if it does happen, I'll be like so psyched, because my favorite arc in the series is right after the anime ends, which is kind of annoying, but still. Since Magi hasn't really I guess like after I read the manga, it wasn't really my favorite. Had I read it before, right, then it probably would have been my favorite. But another series here has topped it. Not even topped it. It was above Magi before I even read the Magi manga. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the manga now since I won't be able to talk about it later. Yeah, the Magi manga, right? Ko Empire already said 10 out of 10 arc. It's amongst my top 3 arcs. Sinbad's a great side character. Yudar is one of my favorite antagonists. He's definitely top 10. I don't know about top 5. Protagonists, I don't know if you want to say Aladdin or Alibaba are like the protagonists, but either one of them is easily top 15. They're not my favorite, but they're still really good. Hakuryu is, great. He has a bunch of development. Arguably the best, like the most and best development in the series. That's up for debate though, right? But he's personally a great side character. Is he top 10 side characters? I don't know how to think about it. But the good thing is that the cast is so like saturated with good characters that it's like you can have a different top. Every person that reads it is gonna have a different top 5, and at least like 2 characters are gonna be different, right? Like I have Judar as my second favorite character in the series, below Sinbad, I think. I don't know. It changes like every other day. And then it gets really difficult from there on. But Judar, great antagonist. He's really like a jester. I don't know how to call it, but like I guess you could say he's an overpowered child, man. I don't know. But yeah, I would explain Judar like simply, but I don't know how. There's other examples of him. I just can't think of him at the moment. But yeah, as for what came after Magi is One Piece. You've seen me talk about One Piece a whole lot on this channel, a good amount at least on this channel. I don't think a whole lot just yet. Of any series I've ever read, it's the series I love talking about the most. Not because it's my favorite, but because it's just, with all the fan theories and all these little things you can talk about and all these different like discussions you can have about One Piece. I don't think any series has as many things to talk about as One Piece. Like, yeah, Berserk, you can talk about analyses, but that gets boring after a while, right? One Piece, you can analyze a character, you can talk about, like, fan theories, because they're much more, like, prevalent in the fandom than, say, My Hero theories, which are, like, rarely heard of. The only My Hero theories are, like, what someone's gonna think in the near future, and even then, it's not, like, a widespread kind of famous theory. You can also talk about, like, favorite characters. Another thing I love about One Piece is, and Manga 2, the great world building, right? Those two series have my favorite world building of all time. They're just so, like, Magus isn't as, like, in-depth, which is why it's not my favorite, but, One Piece has all these cool-looking areas with a bunch of, like, depth into them. It's not as, like, whatchamacallit, complex as, like, I don't want to say complex, but, like, the Attack on Titan world is more compact, is the word for it that I was looking for. Like, yes, it's not as big or as vast or as wonderful as the One Piece world, but like it's a lot more compact and you know much more about this one area than you do about the world. Similar to how One Piece is like the opposite type of world building, right? You know so much about the world, but you also know so little. But like when it comes to how specific islands work, you still know a lot about it, but you're not like so into detail that they dive into the politics every time. It really depends on the island and stuff, but honestly, great series. One of my second favorite protagonist ever. One of my favorite antagonists being Dofi. Side characters, it's hard to say. Zoro's great. So many great side characters in One Piece. You can really love all of them, and no one really could get mad that one of them is in your top 5. The Straw Hats are one of my favorite groups in anime. Also, any moment that like a Straw Hat says Luffy is gonna be like the Pirate King or whatever, phenomenal moment. It just, that kind of thing never misses within the series. I love it. Personally, I love Usopp's more than anyone else's just because he's a lot more human. I'm not gonna get too much into depth of that because I'm not trying to keep this too long of a video and it has nothing to do with the video. But yeah, one of my favorite. It has like a lot of my favorite moments in anime. But yeah, I definitely started liking it a lot more. Not a lot more than manga, but I definitely started liking it, and the more and more time I went on, the more and more I liked it because, as I mentioned, you could talk so much about it. Whereas Magi, it's a series that already ended, so you can't really talk too much about it. But yeah, as for that, I don't think there isn't much I wanted to say. The next thing that I think my next favorite series, the next series that was my favorite at one point was Sunken Rock, which I'll admit is nowhere near as well written or whatever as any of the series I've already mentioned or the next series to come. But it's I don't know, I enjoyed it so much. It was one of my first manga. It has my favorite character in fiction being Ken Katana. I 100% pronounced that wrong, but I do not care. Side characters is great. I forgot the name. I gotta reread it soon. But the side boss, I guess, he's great. The whole the main guys in Sunken Rock are great. Antagonist Bamfong is a great antagonist. I'm 100% pronouncing these wrong, and I don't even feel bad because Korean names are weird. But yeah, my favorite arc. Not favorite arc. My favorite art in any series, period. Nothing ever comes close. It's just Boichi's beautiful art. It looks better than real life sometimes. But since it's not one of those series that I'd ever I used to recommend it to everybody, but I've had a lot of people read it, say they don't like it. So I guess it's one of those series that not everyone's gonna like. Mainly because there's a lot of fan service. And I mean a lot of fan service. If you think Berserk has a lot of nudity or whatever, then you just haven't read Sunken Rock. I don't really mind it though, unless it's actually Sunken Rock's fan service, thinking back, isn't the best. It's a lot of time, actually almost 100% of the time, it's unnecessary for comic relief. But a lot of people don't like that, so I can see why some might not like it. But as being one of my first manga, I loved it. Do I recommend it? Not a lot, unless someone asks for something similar to it. Most of the time when I recommend something to someone, Magi or another series to come to this list in a bit, mainly because those two series, they're a lot more easily likable, I guess, right? They're not filled with fan service like Sunken Rock, and I don't know, I love them both. So Yeah, Sunken Rock, I recommend you read it. If you don't like it, well, you don't like it. I won't be too surprised. My main complaint with the series isn't even the fan service. It's the not so great ending. I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm pretty sure I heard Boichi had to change it because of a real life event or something. But the ending isn't the best. I think the site I was reading it on too had like this extra chapter that I've never heard of again. So that was weird. But yeah, I really, if you want to read it, read it. Honestly, read it. I would honestly say all these series are like a must read. Sunken Rock might not be a must read, but it's still a great series you should check out. But yeah, on to my next one and my current favorite series of all time. It is easily and without a doubt Kingdom. I've already made a video on Kingdom before, so I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about it. It's already 20 minutes long. But like Kingdom has phenomenal art, phenomenal side characters, right? Some of my favorite side characters in anime and manga. My favorite fight of all time in anime and manga. My favorite arc, period. Like, yes, other arcs are good, right? Falcon and Millennium Empire used to be my favorite arc, but it's nowhere near close as good as Coalition Invasion, or whatever you want to call it. I just call it Coalition. It's just so much good stuff about it. I really can't find a flaw. The only flaw I can kind of see is like the art style that some people might not like because of the eyes, right? But you really like you get used to that, and sometimes it matches the character. Or like some characters will have like really big eyes, and they'll like not symbolize, but it's to help portray the fact that they're very observant and stuff like that. And it's pretty long, right? It's like 670 chapters. So if you don't read it, I can understand, right? It's like One Piece. I can understand why someone might not want to read One Piece because it's so long. But it's not really like you can't complain that it's too long. You can only use it as a reason of why you don't want to read it. But yeah, currently 3 of those series, Kingdom, Manga, and One Piece, are in my top 3. Sunken Rock I have to reread because it's been over a year, I believe, and I haven't reread it. I gotta get back to it because I read like 20 chapters and stopped for some reason. But I'll probably love it again when I reread it. If not, I still love Kenny. He's my favorite character of all time. Only character that's close is Griffith, and I still love Griffith as well. But yeah, that's basically it for the video. I don't have too much I want to say outside of that. But yeah, before you go, because that's gonna be the end of the video. 66% of you aren't subscribed. So if you are subscribed, you like the videos, subscribe. I don't know what you're doing if you're not. But yeah, if you like the video, let me know what you thought down below. Maybe a like, comment, subscribe, share, and peace.